1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Hey, hey. Here we go. Light the candle. There we go. Here we go. Pull the lever. Down the chute. Here we go. Off and running with you on a Wednesday. I'm Matt in the Bureau. That means the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. The warm, well, cool in this case. It's warm outside. Cool, comfy, palatial Farm Bureau Insurance Studios. Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance. Say it with me. Go with the home team. If you don't want to take my word for it, take Jake Mangum's word for it. Notable Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance spokesperson who also had another hit last night. More on that coming up. I have to admit something. I didn't get a chance to say this to Beaver, but I thought about it. But I thought I was going to say to Beaver, Beaver, what are we going to talk about today? Because quite literally, I think we talked about everything yesterday. We didn't. I think on yesterday's show, we really did hit it all. We hit all the topics, all of them, in one show. At least, anyway, that's how it felt. But thank goodness today's a new day, and there is some other stuff popping up out there. And, of course, you got baseball today. That'll happen here in a little bit. And there's 4 teams left. For 2 of them, it's not an elimination day. For the other 2, it might be an elimination day. But we just don't know. That's why we got to play the games. So all of that coming up. And just for taste, okay, the icing or the cherry on top, yeah, the sprinkles on top of your donut, is a former SEC football coach running his mouth about the fact that the league, the SEC, is not playing 9 conference games like the rest of these leagues out here. So we got all that to get into today if you want to. Anything goes. It's a whatever Wednesday. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. And check in with Beav about this $1 million house we talked about yesterday. Happy Wednesday, Beav.
You too, Matt Wyatt.
Got home last night, and I showed Anna Beth that house over in the Delta we were talking about yesterday, remember? Mm-hmm. By the way, you did look at the pictures, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I showed it to her. Hey, guess what? When we looked at it yesterday during the radio show, you know how that link on Zillow, it had it listed at $1.2 million? Mm-hmm. By the time I showed it to Anna Beth last night at home, this was around 8:30 p.m., it was down to $995,000. It was under $1 million. The price had come down by over $200,000. Does that make a difference?
That little bit of time.
Yeah, I don't know what you chalk that up to, but that was the case. Hey, but you know what, though? She did not agree with you about the idea that it was haunted. She had another concern about it. She goes, it's got 8 bedrooms. There's no way we can keep that clean. There's no way we can keep that house clean. As if we were in the market. See what I mean, Beav? It's all about perspective. Think about it from a real estate standpoint, Beaver. Okay, let's just say hypothetical. Let's say that, of the people interested in a place like that, there's you, there's me, and there's Anna Beth. Well, from a sales standpoint, you got one over here, that's you, who thinks it's filled with ghosts. What was your reasoning again?
It's old. And it just has that look to it. It's old. It's all old wooden style, creaking floors.
Yeah. You got me who, one of the 3 potential hypothetical buyers who I'm all about. I'm almost throw caution to the wind. I don't care. I'll work through any of the hard details and get used to it. It's such a beautiful place. And then there's the third person who's like, hey, I like it. too many bedrooms. I can't keep all that clean. It's just not. I can't do it. And think of all the things you'd have to overcome to sell a place like that. Anyway, yeah, okay. So that Beaver. Here's the other thing you and I have to cover. Shortly after yesterday's show ended, you sent me a picture, and it was of a Snickers ice cream bar. Details, sir. Where did it come from? How was it?
Let's see. It came from the local Walgreens.
All right. I didn't know they were selling the Snickers ice cream bars at Walgreens. All right. So was this the first one you'd had, or you've had that before?
Oh, no. No, I've had it before.
What, why'd you send me the picture of it?
Because it came up last week or the week before. Real recently it came up, and you seemed to express great admiration for the Snickers ice cream bar.
Love it.
So that's why I sent it to you, because I know you like them.
Yeah. Man, I wondered. I thought he's sending me this to make me jealous, see if he can motivate me to run out here and buy one. Hey, but did you experience what I said I have always experienced with the Snickers ice cream bar? One, it is absolutely delicious. But two, you must eat it in a hurry. Did you experience that? Because if you don't eat it in a hurry, you've got a mess.
Yeah.
How many bites does it take? Is it 3 or 4?
Well, now I'm going to have to get another one so I can keep an official count and let you know.
You didn't keep up with it. Okay. I'm going to say that for me, it's probably 4. I'm saying it's probably 4 bites for me to finish off a Snickers ice cream bar before I get it all over myself. So we got, listen, Beaver, again, look, that time of year, topics all over the place. There's plenty of sports to get to and plenty of time to do it. I just have to share something else with you. Beaver, you a fan of mushrooms?
I like mushrooms.
You answered that so quickly, it's almost like you were prepared for me to ask you about mushrooms. That's weird. Usually there's a little delay there. But I digress. Okay, Beav, nobody has even seen the episode yet, but yesterday I interviewed someone for the Mississippi Outdoors podcast from MDWFP. It'll be a future episode, okay? And the person I talked to, this was yesterday afternoon, is an expert in many, many, many things, including, I'm talking about a bona fide expert on the wild mushrooms that exist in the state of Mississippi, including edible ones, including poisonous ones, including other kinds of ones, beef, that, kids like to play around with and have hallucinations, like a drug, a narcotic, or whatever you want to call it, a hallucinogenic, okay? He's an expert on all that stuff, Beaver. Well, it really piqued my interest. Just thinking, listening to this guy talk at how, pretty much throughout the state, there's these different kinds that absolutely you can eat them. They are very good. I'm a mushroom guy. Like if I go to a certain place and I order a hamburger, I'm always asking them to put mushrooms on it. I like that stuff. Well, it piqued my interest. He's telling me there are these different times. You can find the morel mushrooms in Mississippi. People find those. There's another kind that's called the chanterelle. It's a really like a delicacy type of mushroom. People love to eat them. It piqued my interest. So this was yesterday afternoon. Beav, I'm not kidding you. This morning at daylight, back home in Tupelo, Mississippi, I take Jasper for a walk. We go walking around. We walk down to the lake, go around the levee, and come up the other side and turn around and come back. And sometimes we venture off through the woods and everything. And I've started, we do a couple of walks together a day, but the early one, we're doing it early and earlier. The hotter it gets, we just go early. Like I'm telling you, daylight today in Tupelo, even though it's really hot, middle of the day, daylight, it was nice. No sweat. It was nice. But, Beef, we're about, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred, maybe 300 yards from the house. he ventures over into like the edge of the woods in one spot where he normally chases squirrels. And I look, and there, shining like a light bulb, are these bright orange, they're called chanterelle mushrooms. And this guy talked about them yesterday. You don't eat them raw, but you cook them in different ways, and they're really good. Really good. They're sought after. There's a little clump of them, 2 of them. So what I'm telling you, B, I'm telling you this whole story because I just want your reaction. I want your honest reaction to it. I reached down and picked both clumps of these brightly orange colored chanterelle mushrooms that supposedly are wild mushrooms you can eat. Brought them home. They're sitting here on my desk in the office in the studio right now. I'm staring at them. And I'm going to clean them up and cook them and eat them later. All right, so there's the story. What's your reaction?
I don't like it.
Oh, really?
I don't like you picking mushrooms out of the ground and eating them. I know you just talked to an expert yesterday, but Matt Wyatt, because you talked to an expert doesn't make you an expert, and I don't want these to turn out to be bad, mess you up mushrooms.
But I've identified them. I'm pretty sure I've identified these.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing, though. You and Annabeth had the same reaction, just for the record, Beaver. Y'all both have had the same exact reaction. And even hers might have been a little more strongly worded than yours. Hey, and you know what another one of her main concerns was when I brought the mushrooms home that I picked?
What?
She was worried the cats were going to eat them and like get sick and die. I'm like, the cats? She's like, don't put them where they can get them. Get them out of here. The whole thing's kind of been a different experience, but I'm confident that this is what they are. What if I send the picture and bounce it off of the guy I talked to get a confirmation on it? What then?
Then I'd feel a little better about this.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll do that. Okay. I'll do it. I'll send off some pictures just to make sure. Now, they do have dirt all over them, so we're going to have to do something about that. And I got to reading about how to prepare them. There's different things. But it said these particular kind don't soak them or wash them off too hard because they soak up all the water. It said brush the dirt off. That's really my only concern is that I don't think there's any amount of brushing that's going to get all the dirt off. I'm not interested in eating that dirt. Anywho, they exist, B. Look them up. Chanterelle mushrooms. In fact, Beaver, I know you're not the kind of person who likes to go around confirming everything all the time. You're kind of like what the Bible says. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Yes, no, tell the truth, leave it at that. Stick with it. Do what you say you're going to do. Okay, but you could, Beaver, look that up of chanterelle mushrooms. And then I could send you a picture, and then you could also do a comparison and see what you think. You just let me know if you're interested in that. I'm not a huge risk taker, but I am fascinated by people who can identify wild stuff that you can eat. I think part of the reason I'm fascinated is I've never known it, never studied it. I'm fascinated by it now. And I have sitting on my desk a big wadded up, of chanterelle, brightly colored, they look really good. Orange chanterelle mushrooms. And again, look, I'm not ashamed. If you're listening and you're going, what is it? I thought this was what station is it? Look, okay. I'm not ashamed at all. I'm just giving you some real life here. That's what's going on. All this is real life. This is all real life. QB1 commented on the country pleasing text line. By the way, that number, if you want to text me, is 885-3776. Live on YouTube, Facebook, and X, formerly Twitter. Also, if you're on the live stream, drop a comment there. I can see it on the screen. We'll pop it up. You can also call me on the Davini phone. I get to hear your voice. 897-1059. So give me a shout. All right. QB1 texted and said a couple of weeks ago, y'all talked about butter pecan ice cream. Said if you haven't tried Tillamook's version of it, then you're missing out. In fact, any of, am I saying this correctly? Tillamook's flavors are the best on the market. Beaver, I got to say that would be a brand of ice cream I've never heard of.
I see it all the time. I've never tried their ice cream. I've had their chi. But yeah, I'm curious about this too. I didn't know they had butter pecan. I've never seen that flavor.
Well, here's what I mean, ice cream is ice cream. How it's kind of hard to mess it up. But I'm all for it. Yeah, QB1. No, again, for the record, Hope Real C is listening. Again, so Beaver can hear me say it again. I'm not against butter pecan ice cream. I'm not a disliker of it. I just don't think it should be anywhere near anyone's top 2 or 3 flavors, let alone at the very top where my man Real C had it for a while. But hey, you do you. Denzel, what is this? White Denzel on the country pleasing text line says, gentlemen, I'm telling you now, this particular pie is a top 3 pie of all time. And do you know what it is? He sent a picture of it. It is Dolly Parton's original whipped cheesecake. Now, I don't care if you have it number 1 or not. I think it's worth trying. Anything with Dolly on there? Did I say it correctly, Beaver? I said whipped. Maybe it's whipped cheesecake. Patches O'Houlihan. Yeah, I was talking about that house. It came down from 1.2 million down to 900, and I think 993,000. I think is what they brought it down to. He said, in that case, sold. It's that easy, huh? J-Rock texted the show. He said, the price came down because Beaver put it out there that it's haunted. Wait just a minute. I didn't think of that. Beaver, do you realize what J-Rock is insinuating? And it's got some merit. This gorgeous place, like something out of a movie on Highway 3, about 5 miles or so south of Yazoo City, just sitting right on the edge of the Mississippi Delta. It's looked it up, Beaver. It's sitting on like 10,000 acres of flat farmland as far as you can see. And here's this long driveway. It's a half a mile driveway lined with these giant live oaks in the middle of a field. And out there at the end of it is this 10,000 square foot house. And they wanted 1.2 million for it. Beaver, we talked about it on the radio. You said you think it's haunted. And just like that, the price came down. Beav, you didn't realize you had that kind of power in that microphone, did you?
No, but just in case this could be a possibility, I want to keep talking about this to drive the price down, and then, Matt Wyatt, we swoop in. And then it's ours.
Then we swoop in. Beav, I swear, we go in together. We open up a B&B. We take turns living there. It's got 8 bedrooms. You could have folks like us live there at the same time and never see each other. B&B, hire it out for weddings and whatnot. You're already thinking. Go ahead and say it, Beaver. You're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I'm in your head. You could have one heck of a haunted house in October. Sell tickets. We're on to something. All right, regarding the mushrooms, Scott texted in. He said, tell him, Beaver. Said he thinks he identified them. Heck no, don't do it, Matt. I'm confident I did. Piggly Wiggly Lee texted the show. He said, looking for some support from my local SEC brethren as we take on the evil empire from Baton Rouge tonight. Can I rely on you, Matt and Beav? Woo pig. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely, Piggly Wiggly Lee. You and 𝐷𝐷𝐽𝐬 and everybody. I'm not speaking for Beaver. He can speak for himself on this. But for me, as for me and my house, as they say, as for me and my house, we are all woo pig suey tonight.
Come on, all you Razorback fans.
Come
Let's
on.
stand up and call those hogs.
Yeah, all right, so that's us. Beav, you rooting for Arkansas tonight, or are you going to be contrary and go with LSU?
No, you know what? Just for Piggly Wiggly Lee, I'm not going to call the Hogs. I refuse to drop a WPS because it can get cringy real quick. But, yes, for moral support, moral-wise, I'm behind you.
All right, there we go. All of us. One way to get the whole country to pull for Arkansas is to put them in the College World Series against LSU. And it's similar to, like, same thing when they played Tennessee in a Super Regional. The one way to get the whole country to root for Arkansas, put them in a Super Regional against Tennessee, and that happened. So maybe this will help too, Piggly Wiggly Lee. I'm of the belief that it makes no difference who I root for. None. But there's one way to find out. Let's root for them, see what happens. All right. Just getting started with you here on this Wednesday in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Headlines coming up, some of that sports we talked about, and more. Stick around. Y'all heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff. They really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com, at a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
I was born and raised in Greenville. I've always called Greenville home. This is where I, was raised, went to high school, graduated high school, worked all my life here, leading up to going to college. So even when I moved from Greenville, I always told people, they asked me where you're from, I always said I'm from Greenville. I have mother, father, brother, niece, aunt, all live here in Greenville. So this is home. This is where I, live, and I've just always called it home. Small town, I feel like I could walk in any place tomorrow and know 2 to 3 people in there. It's small town. Someone's on the side of the road broken down. Hey, you need a boost, flat tire, you need help changing it. That's just kind of, what I love about this area. The blues and the food and everything that comes along with the Mississippi.
Is in the house. The Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Ba, 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 ba. Back with you. Hey, I've got some college football related news for you. And it's not going in the headlines. It's from last night. I'm not putting it in the headlines because I don't think it's that important. But it gives me a chance to do something I've been wanting to do. More specifically, it gives me a chance to use a sound clip on my soundboard that I've been wanting to use again. So here goes. According to Brett McMurphy, formerly of the acronym, they fired him. He's still out here doing the same thing he did before they fired him. Conference commissioners have decided to, quote, start over on determining the 2026 college football playoff format, sources said. Big Ten and the SEC initially wanted 4 automatic qualifiers, with 2 each to the ACC and Big 12. However, the ACC and the Big 12 pushed back. SEC coaches later publicly did not support 4 automatic qualifier model, instead preferring 5 automatic qualifiers plus 11 at-large format for the 16-team playoff, as did the ACC and the Big 12. The SEC wants more value given the strength of schedule metrics, something the college football playoff executives discussed in today's meetings. However, a source cautioned, even if strength of schedule is supposed to carry more weight with the committee, it still boils down to the opinions on who they think are the best teams. Deadline for finalizing the 2026 college football playoff format is December the 1st. What do you think, Dr. Crane?
At Cornell University, they have an incredible piece of scientific equipment known as the tunneling electron microscope. Now, this microscope is so powerful that by firing electrons, you can actually see images of the atom, the infinitesimally minute building block of our universe. Roger, if I were using that microscope right now, I still wouldn't be able to locate my interest in your problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. Crane. Couldn't possibly have said it better myself.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Mortgage Man Group. You can find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Start there. Anything mortgage related in the state of Mississippi, that's where you want to go. Buying, refinancing, whatever. mortgagemanms.com. We start with the College World Series. 2 games today. First up at 1 o'clock Central, it's Coastal Carolina versus Louisville on bracket 1. Coastal Carolina's in the driver's seat. They're 2-0. Louisville has a loss. So if Coastal wins, they're on to the championship. If Louisville wins, they force another game. Louisville's got to beat Coastal twice. Coastal's got to beat Louisville once. Then tonight at 6, we'll throw out first pitch, weather permitting, and schedule and everything else. in the rematch of Arkansas versus LSU. A similar deal. Arkansas has a loss. It's to LSU. So LSU at 2-0, they need one win to get to the finals. And Arkansas would have to beat LSU twice to get to the finals themselves. And so that's the status. And we'll have baseball happening soon. Sticking with baseball, last night, well, let's put it this way. Here's your Jake Mangum update. If you listen to me, you're going to get a Jake Mangum update. I don't like it. I don't care. Okay, so your Jake Mangum update is that his hit streak continues. Now, I'm not trying to do the whole jinx deal here. I'm just telling you the truth. Stats are stats. However, his team, the Rays, had their winning streak come to an end last night, a 5-1 loss at home to Baltimore. But the Yankees lost too, so they're still only 2.5 back in the division. I know we got a long way to go, but they're right there. But Jake Mangum picked up another hit last night and scored another run last night. Didn't he? Didn't he score their lone run? I believe he did. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. But he did pick up another hit. And so here's what that means. Our boy Jake Mangum is on a 6-game hit streak right now. He's hot as a firecracker. And in those 6 games, he's 9 of 23. That's a .391 batting average in those 6 games. And in those 6 games, he scored 5 runs, driven in 6 more runs, got a couple of doubles to boot in that list. If you push it a little further and go back to the big game that he had against Boston, he's hit safely in 7 of his last 8 games. And in those last 8 games, he's 13 of 29. He's batting .448 in the last 8 games. He's driven in 8 runs. So Jake continues to stay hot. Even though the team lost last night, there's your Jake update. They'll play again. Playing in the night, Baltimore, Tampa, in Tampa. Man, I watched some of it last night. They were sweating. I don't know what the temperature was in Tampa, but they were all just sweating. It's hot. All right, and then the college football news I mentioned to you earlier. Former SEC head coach Brett Bielema, he's now the head coach at Illinois. He said that he gave a quote, he does want to see the college football playoff expand to 16 teams in 2026, but only if all major conferences, including the SEC, play 9 conference games on their schedule. What do you think? Now, he coached in the SEC, and I can guarantee you that while he was employed as a head coach in the SEC at Arkansas, that he was in line with everybody else saying it's just harder in the SEC. The SEC is it's the best conference, so it's more brutal. And playing 8 games in the SEC is like playing 9 elsewhere in other conferences. But now his tune has changed. He's in the Big Ten. And he said, hey, it would not be fair for the other major conferences to play 9 conference games in the year and the SEC to not do it. So there's that. What do you think? And maybe now is the time, I don't know, to hash all that out. And I'll tell you what I think. You tell me what you think about, whether or not the SEC ought to play 9 conference games. But, we don't have to. We'll just kind of see where it goes. But those are your headlines, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Luminate Bank here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. All right, look here. Steve on Facebook, I saw your comment on one of the things maybe a day or two ago, and it said, could you really dunk a basketball in the 8th grade? No. If I'm remembering correctly, I didn't actually dunk one until I was in the 9th grade. I sure bad wanted to, and I tried to in the 8th grade, but I don't remember being able to dunk a basketball in the 8th grade. It took me until 9th grade for that to finally happen. And then I drove my coaches crazy in practice and in layups. They're like, lay the ball up, because I'm always trying to dunk it, because then when you can dunk, that's all you want to do, right? And they had to talk some sense into me. I was not a prolific dunker. I could just do it, and so, but I couldn't do it in the 8th grade. No, I think whoever told you that, Steve, was 1 year off. Now, I will tell you this, Steve. I'll tell you what I did, though. This would have been about 7th or 8th grade. I had a basketball goal in the backyard, and this was not one that Dad, went and bought the whole thing and you bring it to the house and set it up. I'm talking this was home engineered basketball goal. I had it at our house in Russellville, Alabama. Dad had brought home, he got a hold of, I don't know if somebody gave it to him or if he found it on the side of the road. It might have been at a house site and somebody said you could have it. But it was basically a telephone pole. Okay, a wooden telephone pole. All right, so he brought that home and he got them plywood and some little strips, 1x4 strips, okay, and he cut a backboard, a big square backboard, took the strips and nailed it to the back of it, you know, and screwed it in there and reinforced that backboard around the edges and across the middle, okay, then bolted the backboard to the telephone pole, and we had a rim, we bought a rim and a net, of course, put it on there. We took some tape and taped it off and painted the square, an orange square onto the white backboard that we painted it to. And then he has an auger and digs this great big hole and drops that telephone pole in there. We started measuring it, you know, and then pulled the pole back out, put the backboard and bolted it to the pole at the right height. And I had a 10-foot basketball goal in the backyard, planted in the ground on a telephone pole that you couldn't have knocked it down with a truck. It was in there. And the rim was not very forgiving. Okay. That was my basketball goal in our house. Well, also out behind the little storage shed was this big tractor tire. Just the tire, you know, no tube inside of it, it's just the tire. So one day, it wasn't that far. It probably, you know, maybe 50 yards. I propped that big tractor tire up and rolled it down there to the basketball goal and got it positioned, you know, and flop it down on the ground on one side of the goal where I could then get a running start, almost as if you were going to drive to the rim and make a layup, you know. You'd get a running start, drive up there. I would hop up onto that tractor tire and then jump off of it and bam, dunk it. And again, you could have had 3 kids hanging on that rim of that basketball goal and it wasn't going anywhere. It was solid. So, yeah, I was dunking off of a tractor tire in the 8th grade. But as far as jumping off the ground and dunking, I think that only happened in the 9th grade. Good stuff. I mean, tell Dad, if it was Dad, tell Dad he was real close. So it was just 1 year off. 1 year off. All right. You know, any more stories like that? Were you bored? And bore you out of your tears? All right. I mean, out of your mind? Bored you 2 tears? Bored you out of your mind? Get to your texts on the Country Pleasing text line when we come back. I'm Matt. Back after this.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country Pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to Country Pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. You know, it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here and the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. You get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile.
On the Zone 1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you in the Bureau, that is the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go! With the home team. Hey, Sven, he's over there on YouTube all the way in Germany. Thanks for tuning in. Good to hear from you today. Sven, on the YouTube live stream, he says, I don't care much about football as long as Sankey blesses Texas with such schedules and gives State no chance to even win 5. Says, I will maybe watch the game, but I know at very best, we're 5-7. So his interest in football has diminished. Well, and there are others like you. But you never know. You just never know. State will be a little better this year. In fact, the position that I'm most looking forward to watching this year for State is the defensive front, kind of as a whole, because there's so many new faces that they transferred in there that are, some D1 type of athletes and bodies from other places. They just didn't have them last year. You did not have that. So they, I think we'll go from, maybe the worst pass rush and defensive line kind of, play that we might have ever seen at State to what should be much, much more competitive on that front this year. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a little better. Will they stop people and win some games? I don't know. But then another year in Levy's offense, and if you can keep shaping up right the whole year, you got a chance to score on people. Hey, reminder. What was it Cousin Eddie said? That there is an RV. Reminder, put it on the calendar. We're getting closer and closer. End of the month, 3 days for the customer appreciation sale at Camper Corral in Madison and Gluckstadt. June 26th, 27th, 28th. Those 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 26th through the 28th. Customer appreciation sale at Camper Corral. You're going to get 20% off all parts that are sold. They'll have between 20 and 40% off MSRP on all their campers. So a camper will be marked off those 3 days. And then anybody who purchases a new or used RV in those 3 days, you're going to be entered to win a Flex Armor roof upgrade. That can go anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. We'll have a radio show up there for you on that Friday and some food. So put it on the calendar, the Camper Corral Customer Appreciation Sale, June 26th through the 28th, coming up later in the month. All right, over to the text line, the Country Pleasing text line. Speaking of, Joe Mailman with a pertinent question. What flavor Country Pleasing are you going to cook with those mushrooms? Man, what a great question. Probably to begin with, the first go round, I would probably just go with the original smoked sausage flavor because, you cannot go wrong with it and it goes with everything, in my humble opinion. So that's probably what I'd do, the original, and then branch out from there. John from John's. Speaking on the mushrooms, I guess this is pretty good advice. You got it right, John. He said, if you start the Rebel Yell cheer, then you ate some bad mushrooms. Yeah, I think for me, that'd probably be about right. Buffalo Chris said that Mayfield ice cream is the chant. Never heard of that one either. Take your word for it. I bet it's good. Real C, my man, he says, good afternoon, Matt and Beeve. I've taken yet another step in my ice cream journey, and here is my latest new flavor. Bluebell Tin Roof. It's called Tin Roof. The thing about that is I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what flavor-esque it might be if it's named Tin Roof. But his latest rankings, number 1, Coach's Creamy Key Lime Pie. He gives it a 9.3 out of 10. Number 2, Bluebell Chocolate Chip Cookie Cake. He gives it an 8.9 out of 10. He told us about that one yesterday. Still at number 3 in his top 3, he's got good old Butter Pecan. It's an 8.8. And then Bluebell Tin Roof, 8.5. Real C, describe the flavor for me. Like, I need to know what we're talking about. Is it chocolatey? Is it vanilla-y? Like, what is it? Bill says that I'm supposed to pronounce it's not Tillamook, it's Tillamook. Tillamook. Products are from the Pacific Northwest. He says, I assume they're named after the Tillamook Indian tribe. I think all of that is mostly Oregon. He says there are lots of things with the Tillamook name on them in Washington and Oregon. Okay. All right. That's really cool. I like to learn stuff. I guess that's why I've never seen it. Piggly Wiggly Lee gave us a big suey. Now, somebody else back that unnamed texter said, boo pig. So I guess whoever that is be pulling for LSU tonight. Okay, and then Scott says you need to try this flavor of ice cream. You can't go wrong. And the brand is the Tillamook. Established in 1909 in Oregon, and the flavor is mudslide. Beeve, did you see that picture that Scott sent of the mudslide ice cream?
I did.
What do you think? It looks good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it looks really good. So now I'm intrigued by this. And this is day 2, the second time. The first time Real C brought this to our attention, I was curious. And now I've gotten curiouser about this chocolate chip cookie cake.
Yeah. Let me guess. You're curious because you got chocolate chip ice cream. Okay, so how much different could chocolate chip cookie cake ice cream be from regular old chocolate chip? Am I in the ballpark?
Well, let's investigate.
All right. Meaning what? Go eat it?
Meaning Google.
Oh, okay. You Google. All right, you Google it. Jake from Yazoo said, happy Wednesday, Matt. Well, back at you, sir. Back at you. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Jake, thanks for sending that. My goodness, Jake. Thanks for sending that. Thibodeau texts the show. He says, if Matt talks about this day in history and then reads a Grateful Dead set list from 1973, we all know that the mushrooms were not safe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure these are not any of those things that make you go crazy. Like, I'm really sure, Thibodeau. Hey, but Thibodeau, I don't know, I can't pronounce it. But whatever kind of mushroom that is that pops up in everybody's yard after it rains, and it comes out, it's like a big white, flat and white, big white, looks like a Frisbee. Better not eat that. Better not eat that. That's what I learned. What'd you find, Beef? Anything?
Yeah. So, on the Bluebell website, now I've lost it. But anyway, So there was talk about, on top of the chocolate chip cookie cake, also vanilla icing is involved in this creation. That all sounds delicious.
Wait a minute. It's an actual ice cream cake? Is that what we're saying? Is that what he's talking about?
No, it's ice cream. It's ice cream that you would buy in a normal pint or a gallon or whatever.
Okay, so you do dip it out. Now I'm looking at the but you're saying that it touts vanilla icing as a part of this ice cream flavor, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, you've got my curiosity up now.
And just the scoops themselves, there's a large bowl here. It looks tempting as well.
Well, okay, and I'll say this. Real C, he knows food. He gave me some of the best barbecue I've ever had. And that was years ago. Which tells you how much time I've been able to spend around him in person over the years, because, in fact, it has been years ago. It was a while back. He knows food. He may have discovered something here. Reckon where we can get our hands on this. Beav, you investigate your local Krogs, and I'll investigate mine. Dog Tired in Florence says, Matt, take a big portobello mushroom, place it on the grill, cap down, fill with Italian dressing, grill it like a hamburger patty. What was I watching? I'm trying to think. I think it was an episode of... No, I know what it was. It was Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec. Remember that scene? I think they had gone to Rob Lowe's house, and he's expecting there to be hamburgers on the grill. There's smoke coming out, and then when he gets it, he looks at it, he said, what is this? And he's like, it's portobello mushroom. It's much better than beef. It's better for you. And Ron almost fainted. The idea of having portobello mushroom burger as opposed to hamburger. All right, so we're on it again today. Man, the web we're weaving today, it's going all over the place. And sports is in there somewhere. So we'll continue that in hour 2 in the Bureau, Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. when I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online, murraywest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I had this opportunity come up to a friend of mine that was an agent here at Farm Bureau that, he said this may be something I like to do because he knew I was involved in the community. And what we do, we're supporting the community. We're doing stuff to protect the members of our community. I've been here almost a decade. And what we do, we help people every day through the products we sell. We make recommendations to them, stuff to protect their assets, protect their lives, their families, and we're local. We're local people. Everybody that works in this office has grown up here, lived here, played ball in this community. I've coached in this community, been on the park boards, the sports league boards, the booster club boards. The community is what's important here in Farm Bureau. We push the local community. We're a Mississippi company. That's a Washington School team ball from 2019. Greg Wallace was the head coach then, and him and I were really good friends. I've been in Greenville my whole entire life. My family's been here. This is home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support the people of Washington County, protect them. I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County. We are the home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. What that is. That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country pleasing sausage, these flavors and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, "Country pleasing, please." They'll know what you're talking about.
That kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
At Hallmark Hyundai Flowood on Lakeland Drive, your price is not affected by tariffs or supply. We have the best selection of inventory and the best deals on a new Hyundai. Time is now to save money on every model, while current dealer discounts and factory rebates are at all-time levels. Aggressive financing with low rates while banks fight for your business. More tech, more warranty, less worry. Shop us online at HallmarkHyundaiFlowood.com or find us at 4200 Lakeland Drive in Flowood, Mississippi. High value, low cost, no stress. All can be found at Hallmark Hyundai Flowood on Lakeland Drive.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
We are good to go.
With more of the Matt Wyatt Show. Coming to you direct and live at the Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone 105.9.com.
Back with you. Hour number 2. Hour number 2 in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Here we go. Matt Beaver is here. Y'all can be a part of the show. I sure hope you are. Show's a lot better when you're in here. Promise. So get on in on the live stream if you're on YouTube or Facebook or X, formerly Twitter. Pop a comment in there. Just post it. I'll be able to see it all in one nice, neat column. We can put it up on the screen and take a look. Like Sven, he's in Berlin, Germany, and on YouTube, he said, Matt, we played Texas, Georgia, Arizona State, Tennessee, and Ole Miss at home. That's 4 auto losses and 130% chance to upset Arizona State. Florida, Aggies, Mizzou on the road are all automatic losses. And then he says, maybe we can beat Arkansas. Well, what do you think? It's June. Yeah, we're chalking those up. But do you have an argument? But there's your example. You can get on the show that way. You can also text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number, 885-3776. Got it? 601 number, 885-3776. On the Country Pleasing text line, John from John's says, if you like Butterfinger, you need to try Butter Crunch by Bluebell. MSU 1980 texted and said, Matt, even though Bluebell makes lots of flavors, my local Kroger in Madison only carries the basics. Dog Tired in Florence Kroger sells an Oreo ice cream cake, but the Oreo in the middle is about 300% larger than the normal size. Uh-huh. You have my attention. Clay says it's the cookie cake like you would buy from the cookie store crumbled up in the ice cream. He's given us some experience of what this Bluebell chocolate chip cookie cake ice cream is. It's a mouthful, literally and figuratively. Thank you very much. Denzel texts the show and says the Cookie Crunch ice cream at Mayday Ice Cream right behind Fertile Ground Brewery is the best ice cream I've ever had. He says not only does it have chunks of Oreos in it, it's also blended with the icing that is in between the Oreo. All right, I'm going to need a ruling on this. This one got my attention. Hey, B.
Hey, Matt Wyatt.
Denzel says there's a type of ice cream called Cookie Crunch. He says not only does it have chunks of Oreos in it, it's also blended with the icing that's in between the Oreo. Your thoughts, sir?
I want
it. Okay. Noted. I thought you would say that it sounds appetizing. What about what he sent earlier? I got to rambling and I didn't get back to you on this, but did you see that box there? The Dolly Parton's original whipped cheesecake?
Yeah, that's odd. What's Dolly Parton doing getting into the frozen pie game?
Yeah, I don't know. She's got all kinds of stuff out there. Her name's on a little bit of everything. I'm a huge Dolly Parton fan. Always have been, always will be. Love Dolly. Although, weirdly, Beaver, I've only been to Dollywood once. You ever been?
I haven't.
You want to go?
I kind of do, actually.
Yeah. You know, Beav, as I get older and as I'm, due to my marriage, more and more exposed to things like Hallmark movies, I'm softer. And so I have seen these things where they whip up Dollywood into this magical Christmas place at Christmas time. I kind of want to go there then. Plus, I mean, think about it, B. You go to that part of Tennessee at Christmas time, it's nice and cold. You can walk around in a sleeveless T-shirt and not even sweat. That might be the time to go, man. What do you think?
I'd go.
Right.
I'd go. I'd like to check it out, and I'd also like to go back to your Hallmark.
All right, let me hear.
Oh, it's made you soft. Yeah,
soft.
I understand this. I understand this, Matt Wyatt. I need you to drop the Hallmark, get your edge back.
Yeah. Beef, I got to get my edge back. What do I do? I don't want to hurt Annabeth's feelings, though, and say, like, I don't like this. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a jerk about it. What can I do? Maybe I have to offset it in some way. So if I'm looking at a scale here, Beaver, okay, and in the middle, the dead middle is just middle ground. On one end of the scale, though, over here on one end is the soft, likes Hallmark movies and Christmas villages. What is on the other end of the scale the other way that could then balance it back out? What kinds of things?
Oh.
I mean,
motorcycle.
Did you just say a motorcycle?
You get a motorcycle. That's step one.
Beav, I saw 2 different motorcycles for sale in my hometown yesterday and today. One of them this morning that caught my eye. I want it. It's black. It's got some red and orange flames up there on the gas tank. Handlebars. What would you do, Beaver, if, Matt's coming down on a Tuesday. He normally comes down. He does wildlife stuff for NBWFP, and he does a show. And I come burping into the parking lot on a Harley there at the radio station. What's your reaction if you see that?
I wouldn't know how to proceed. That would be probably one of the most out of place things I've ever seen.
Would I have to change my image, or could I just be who everything else is the same, dressed the same haircut?
No, I don't. You got to change your clothes too. You got to change to, well, you've got to get a denim jacket and cut the sleeves off.
Okay. But then I got to lift weights and get rid of this farmer's tan.
Well, you ride around long enough in that jean jacket with no sleeves, it'll tan you up to the shoulders.
Yeah. I'm going to surprise you someday. Okay, secretly deep down inside, I've always wanted a motorcycle. I've always thought they were incredibly cool. And just the idea of the freedom of riding around on those 2 wheels, wind blowing through whatever little bit of hair I've got. I've just always thought it's real cool. Okay, but I've also constantly heard of people getting hurt on them. It's almost like that was the Lord's way of saying, Matt, here's another reminder, and here's another reminder, and here's another reminder. But I mean, Beav, at this point, I'm running out of time. I am not a midlife crisis guy. But let's be real here. I mean, how many more decades do I have? Not nearly as many as I've already had, I don't think. Certainly not the kinds of decades where I can ride around on a motorcycle. It may be time to do it. That'll balance it out.
Well, you know what? Let's start small. Let's start small. I think the motorcycle is, put that off, think about it, but in ways to get your edge back is what started this thing.
Yeah, I need something else.
Start really small, and you can do this tonight or this afternoon.
Okay.
Maybe Annabeth is in the kitchen. You walk in there and defiantly, so you stand in front of her and you pick up those mushrooms and just eat one. And the remnants throw it on the floor.
Yeah, dare.
Because she doesn't want you to. You do it defiantly.
Okay. All right. My next question is this, Beaver. Over the next week, can I stay with you? Can I stay at your house?
You need a place to lay low.
I'm going to need to lay low for a little while. And that's great. But you said a little bit at a time. Yeah, okay. I see. Dennis, formerly of Omaha, said you, talking about me, on a motorcycle would be midlife crisis on two wheels. Okay. Adams texted and said, while watching Hallmark, lift weights and do curls. Get off my balls says he and the family are going to Dollywood in July. Okay. Adam boy. They'll have ice cream and goodies up there. Jason, I can't even go over the list. I cannot do it. Jason in Flagstaff texted. He goes, I'm just tuning in. What did I miss? I can't even possibly. I mean, listen, Jason, if I even give you sort of a bullet list here, you're going to think the world's coming to an end. Something's bad off. So here, let me just try it. Wild mushrooms that I picked. Should I or shouldn't I eat them? Motorcycles and therefore midlife crises. College football playoff. Jake Mangum update. Woo pig suey. Bluebell chocolate chip cookie cake ice cream. And some other ice cream called Tin Roof and Tillamook. Hey, and I'm just getting started. That's scratching the surface. And I'll say it again. This may be nowhere near the best radio show out there, but I promise you it's one of a kind. I promise. And I can promise you we are not your run-of-the-mill radio show. Unnamed texter said motorcycle will be the best way to relax after a long day, just a short ride. See, that's what I think. I actually believe I would be mature enough to not get a motorcycle and then act like a fool on it, and put myself and everybody else in danger. I just ease around. Yeah. Take it down the trace all the way to Jackson one day, pull in the parking lot at the radio station and call Beeve. Say, hey, Beeve, come out and check this out. Mm-hmm. Beeve said he wouldn't know how to proceed from there. And Joe Mailman said, Matt, your dad's probably listening, cringing about the bike talk. Well, maybe so. I bad considered getting like the cheapest, just get you from point A to point B a few blocks away motorcycle type contraption when I was in college. It was a very practical thought process, though. It wasn't a show out or to be cool. Here's what it was. And many of you that have been through the same thing on not only the Mississippi State campus, but on others, you have no choice but to buy your parking sticker for your vehicle and register it and all that kind of stuff, right? You pay them for that. And then what? There's nowhere to park. And you go, well, you could walk across campus. Yeah, and be late. Okay. So there were some circumstances where you simply had to jump in that car and go from one side to the other. just in time that if you could find a parking space, you'd be just in time to get out and get in at the beginning of the class and not be late. And I started thinking, if I had that little, just a little know-nothing motorcycle. Heck, man, even like one of those mopeds they ride around down there in at St. Augustine Beach, Then you could pull it inside the building. You could pull up to the side, hide it behind some bushes. You don't need a parking space. But then the thought process was, yeah, that's all well and good. But good and well, as soon as you got used to it, you'd get out there on 82 and see what you could get it up to. And now you're putting yourself in danger. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably true. Jason out in Flagstaff said you'd have to grow a mullet, get a leather vest with a skull painted on it if you're going to drive a Harley. Also, he says you can't drive the Trace at 5 a.m. anymore. Bambi would eat what's left of you before cops would get there to scrape you off the road. Well, maybe. Adams believes, Beeve, that this right here that's going on right now is one of the best episodes that we've ever done. Well, thank you very much, Adams. I can only hope that somewhere there's someone else that shares that opinion. Brown Hornet texted the show on the Country Pleasing text line. He said, Matt, while you're on the subject, let me give you 3 bluebells. Lemon cotton candy and the creamery at Mississippi State, Muscadine Ripple, you can't beat. He says, while I'm at it, give you a plug to, what do you say here? Flying Dolly's Ice Cream in Brandon and a reservoir for some of the best local ice cream. So it's called Flying Dolly's. You ever heard of it, Beeve? Flying Dollies? I had not heard of it. Oh, look. Will 100% vouch for the Muscadine Ripple. And it is, so a Muscadine is a type of grape, right? And it's sort of the flavor, when you get it, it'll sort of make you think of kind of grape-ish a little bit, but it's just a sweet, but it's the right kind of sweet. And it's a different kind of sweet than the other sweet flavors of ice cream. And again, pro tip, Brown Hornet, and I've said it before for people in the press box who get it at halftime of the football games, but it doesn't have to be just that. Like if you go to over there to the store, right? Like across the road from, what is that, Dorman? Where they sell all the cheese and everything. So if you go over there and let's say you get some of that, you're going to sit on those picnic tables and eat it. Take your time. Don't open the Muscadine Ripple immediately. Flip it over upside down and sit it down. It's still sealed, but see, it's been sitting there displayed or in the freezer. And what has happened, even though it's frozen, over time, it's like that Muscadine flavor, that sweet stuff will kind of go to the bottom of the cup of the container. So before you open it and begin to chow down, you flip it over on its head, let it sit there a little bit. Let's just say, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, which is longer than you think when you're waiting to eat something. 2 things are going to happen. Some of that flavor then is going to move to the top, right under the lid, and it's going to soften up just the right amount. Then flip it over and peel that lid off. Whew. Have yourself a ball. I feel like Beaver said a little bit ago, I'm not really sure how to proceed from here, just to be 100%. That sounded good. Real C texted the show. He said, near my office, we have a local attorney that rides a scooter, small motorcycle. He said, the guy's 6'2", 325. He says, Matt, don't do it. That is another thing. All right, I'm 6'5" tall. I'm not quite 6.5 feet tall, but I'm getting close. Somewhere between 6'5". And so these long legs, really on any bicycle or anything like that, it does look a little goofy. I mean, it really does, because my knees are up near my ears, like on some bicycles. I'm sure it would be the same on certain scooters and motorcycles. It'd probably be a goofy looking sight. But, I've kind of gotten to a point I don't care what it looks like, real see. It's all about what purpose is it serving. And look, when we were in college, one time, people didn't know this, but Wayne Matkin, we were playing at State. Wayne, he got himself a scooter. It was a little red moped. He was budding. He had to wear a helmet too. Like, they got on to him for not wearing his helmet. And Wayne's a good guy, so he's like, okay, fine. So he'd wear this helmet, and he's 6'5". He's this big old tall athlete riding around a little red moped with a red helmet. I don't know if it was red, but the helmet was big. Okay. And some of the guys made fun of him because he looked like Rick Moranis in Spaceballs. And he's like, y'all can laugh all you want, okay? But you're looking for a parking space, being late for class, and I'm not. I agreed with him. I said, it's smart. Yeah, absolutely, Wayne. Ride it with pride. If I had the keys to it, I'd have wrote it. David and Brandon texted the show. Well, let's weigh in on this. Let's get Beaver to weigh in on this. The music's about to start, but we have time. David wanted to know, where do we stand on a Klondike bar? David, regarding a Klondike bar, where I stand is I stand on business. I mean, give me one. Give me some. Beav, you like a Klondike bar? And listen, it's like the Dilly Bar, and it's like the Snickers ice cream thing, is that you just have to, you cannot take your time eating it. Once you start, you better stand on business and get it over with, or else you'll be wearing it real soon, especially this time of year. All right, what do you want? What do you want next? You want headlines? You want a baseball update? I think they're playing in Omaha. We'll do all of that when we come back. In the Bureau. Back after this.
I'm 𝐷𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢 with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. Say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I had this opportunity come up through a friend of mine that was agent here at Farm Bureau that, You know, he said this may be something I like to do because he knew I was involved in the community, and what we do, we're supporting the community. We're doing stuff to protect the members of our community. I've been here almost a decade, and what we do, we help people every day through the products we sell. We make recommendations to them, stuff to protect their assets, protect their lives, their families, and you know, we're local. We're local people. Everybody that works in this office has grown up here, lived here, played ball in this community. I've coached in this community, been on the park boards, the sports league boards, the booster club boards. The community is what's important here in Farm Bureau. We push the local community. We're a Mississippi company. That's a Washington School team ball from 2019. Greg Wallace was the head coach then, and him and I were really good friends. I've been in Greenville my whole entire life. My family's been here. This is home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support the people of Washington County, protect them. I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County. We are the home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now.
And worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. All right, Old Tackle on YouTube said, have you had the cookies and cream ice cream from the Mafe store on the MSU campus? As good as it gets. You know, I have, Old Tackle. Honestly, I think it was a couple of football seasons ago. One halftime, I popped up, went in there to get some of that ice cream at halftime, Muscadine and Ripple, and they were out. Others had gobbled it up, and I got cookies and cream. And they make a, what's the other flavor? What's the very typical, like everybody's, old tried and true flavor that's almond something? What is it? Why can't I think of it? Almond what? What and almond? Ice cream flavor. I can't think of it. But that I've gotten that in the press box too. It's really good. Sven in Germany says the only edible ice cream is called gelato. Oreo is a cookie. Should never be in an ice cream, he says. He said if you put ice cream between two Oreo plates, we can talk. Interesting. Yeah, gelato. Like that's the real deal. Regarding the motorcycle thing, JS290 commented on YouTube. He said, Motorcycle Safety Foundation. Go with the BEAV, defensive driving curriculum, plus learn how to operate the motorcycle. Okay. Is it required, or are you just suggesting that you do that? I bet it's required, isn't it? Sven said, Matt, you are way too busy to take time off and ride 8 hours with a motorcycle around. Just forget it. He said, it's not what you are. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. You're right about the time deal. I have time for really, well, let me word it a different way. I make time in my life really for two things. Three things. Family, church, and work. That's what I make time for. Family, church, and work. And the thing is, they're not all the same, but I really like work. I don't dislike it. I don't dread it. I actually really get a kick out of it. So I'm lucky in that way. I'm really blessed in that way. JS290 said those 50cc scooters get 80 miles a gallon. Was that like a golf cart? Is a golf cart get 80 miles a gallon? The gas ones? Okay, and then the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, it's not required but highly recommended. Yeah. Gotcha. Well, David, I wasn't thinking of butter pecan. There's something else. There's a flavor that they make of ice cream at Mississippi State, and it's something almond. And I can't think of the name of it. And I've eaten it a bunch, and I can't think of the name. It's driving me crazy. Somebody said vanilla Swiss almond, that's not it. Pistachio almond, no. Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is. What'll happen is we'll hang up and be like, all right, see y'all tomorrow. Click, and then boom, I'll remember it. That's the way that works. It's happened many times. Many, many times. All right, listen, if you're just tuning in hour number 2 of the show, you might have missed it the first go-round. Let's hit headlines for you today.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Luminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Mortgagemanms.com. Out in Omaha, you've got Louisville facing Coastal Carolina. The only 2 teams that are left on bracket 1 over there, and Coastal Carolina needs 1 win to get to the finals. Louisville will have to beat Coastal Carolina twice to get to the finals. They're playing that game right now. Looks like it says bottom first, no score. That's the most recent update I have, is bottom first, no score. And here a little bit later, I'll pull up the stream and just double check that. But Louisville facing elimination if it loses. If Louisville wins, then you go to a final deciding game to see who goes to the finals. Same situation tonight for Arkansas and LSU. We've got a 6 p.m. first pitch for that scheduled. We'll see what happens based on the first game, but rematch of Arkansas, LSU. Same thing. LSU's in the driver's seat, 2-0. Arkansas has a loss, has to win to force an if necessary game, and they got to beat LSU twice to go to the finals. So that's what's going on in Omaha. And you're getting a Jake Mangum update, whether you want one or not. Most people want one. I want a Jake Mangum update. Here it is. His team, the Tampa Bay Rays, they're a really good team. They're second in their division right now behind the Yankees. They're still 2.5 back because they lost last night to the Orioles at home in Tampa. The Yankees lost also, but the Rays didn't pick up another game because their winning streak came to an end. Orioles won 5-1 on 13 hits, 5 runs on 13 hits last night, and just 1 run for the Rays on 7 hits. And that 1 run might have been a home run. I'm not real sure. Littell pitched well for Tampa, but took the loss. He just didn't have any run support. But Jake got another hit last night. He was 1 for 4. And so here's what that means. Your boy Jake Mangum is on a 6-game hit streak. In those 6 games that he's hit safely in, 6 in a row, he's 9 for 23. That'd be a 391 average. And in those 6 games, 5 runs, 6 RBIs, a couple of doubles mixed in there also. If you push it back a little further into the Red Sox series for Jake, he's hit safely in 7 of his last 8 games. And in those 8 games is 13 of 29. That's a 448 average with 8 runs driven in. Make a long story short, Jake Mangum is a major leaguer. Every bit of it, in every sense of the word, and is proving it night after night after night for the Tampa Bay Rays. I've been watching all of it. Never watched the Rays before in my life. I'm watching them because of him. And then there's this. This came out yesterday. Just make a note. Former SEC football coach, now at Illinois, Brett Bielema, said in an interview that he wants to see college football expand the playoff to 16 teams, but only if all major conferences, shout out SEC, play 9 conference games. So the former Arkansas coach says, if the Big Ten, if the ACC, all of them are playing 9 conference games, then absolutely the SEC has to play 9 conference games. Also, otherwise, he said it ain't fair. And that's former Arkansas coach Brett Bielema. Those are your headlines, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Anything mortgage related, buying, refinancing, that's where you want to go. Here in the metro, places like Starkville, Oxford, Tupelo, Memphis, in between. Start online at mortgagemanms.com, mortgagemanms.com. And look, I know this is a repeat. Also, it's not in the headlines because I don't think it's that important. But it is a repeat, but you might not have heard it the first go around. And it gives me an opportunity to hit a button I've been wanting to press. Regarding the college football playoff, Brett McMurphy points out that conference commissioners have decided to start over on the 2026 playoff format. Initially, the Big Ten and the SEC wanted 4 automatic qualifiers, 2 each going to the ACC and Big 12. Then the ACC and Big 12 pushed back. Then the coaches in the SEC say they didn't want 4. They wanted 5 automatic qualifiers, 11 at-large, and a 16-team playoff. But then there's this whole deal of strength of schedule metrics. The SEC wants that to be weighted heavily. Nobody else does. Back and forth and back and forth. He says, however, a source has cautioned, even if strength of schedule is supposed to carry more weight with the committee, it still boils down to their opinions on who they think are the best teams. On and we go. So I turn to this button, Dr. Fraser Crane.
At Cornell University, they have an incredible piece of scientific equipment known as the tunneling electron microscope. Now, this microscope is so powerful that by firing electrons, you can actually see images of the atom, the infinitesimally minute building block of our universe. Roger, if I were using that microscope right now, I still wouldn't be able to locate my interest in your problem.
All right. Couldn't have said it better. So let's see here. Country Please and text line. That's it. Denzel, John from John's, my unnamed texter friend. That's it. Chocolate almond. It's really so simple, wasn't it? But that's the flavor. I've gotten that some in the press box also when they were out of the muscadine ripple. And the chocolate almond. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You don't have to ask. The answer is yes. Give me some. Bring it on. All right. We'll have a little bit of time left with you when we come back here in the Bureau. That is the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio on this Wednesday. So stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. You know, when I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state
is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online, murraywest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I had this opportunity come up to a friend of mine that was an agent here at Farm Bureau that, he said this may be something I like to do because he knew I was involved in the community, and what we do, we're supporting the community. We're doing stuff to protect the members of our community. I've been here almost a decade, and what we do, we help people every day through the products we sell. We make recommendations to them, stuff to protect their assets, protect their lives, their families, and we're local. We're local people. Everybody that works in this office has grown up here, lived here, played ball in this community. I've coached in this community, been on the park boards, the sports league boards, the booster club boards. The community is what's important here in Farm Bureau. We push the local community. We're a Mississippi company. That's a Washington School team ball from 2019. Greg Wallace was the head coach then, and him and I were really good friends. I've been in Greenville my whole entire life. My family's been here. This is home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support the people of Washington County, protect them. I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County. We are the home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country pleasing sausage. These.
Listen to that! At the Zone 105.9 and coming to you worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Man. That happened quickly. That really got out of hand fast. It is 6-0. Bottom of the first, Coastal Carolina leading Louisville, and there's still no outs. They went pitching change. One kid slapped one out there, and 2 runs came in. Later, cleared the bases with a ball to the wall. 3 runs came in. Man, okay, so top of the second now. So they have finally gotten out of it. Did they? But Louisville did go pitching change, didn't they? I'm not sure. I wasn't watching it, but it was Sven who was updating me at top of the second. But whew. All right, Louisville, you got your work cut out for you. Backs against the wall, facing elimination, down 6-0, top of the second inning. 6 runs in the bottom of the first for Coastal Carolina. Hunter texted the show earlier. He said, instead of the bike mat, what about buying a speedboat? Instead of a bass boat or a pontoon. Okay, again, for me, to each his own. Some people, they have the need for speed. I don't have that. But I really can't even fathom buying a boat to just ride in. I can't fathom it. I can't see a scenario where I'd be happy about that. And again, to someone else, it's exactly what they want. They want to ride in a boat. That's all they want to do is ride in it. For me, I can't imagine having a boat and all you can do is ride in it. If I can't fish out of it, what am I doing with it? That's just me. J-Rock texts the show. He says, will the homecoming queen be riding on the back of the motorcycle with Mad Dog Wyatt? No. Emphatic, no, she wouldn't. I'd love for her to. She ain't getting on it. She don't want to. Yeah, now that's a good suggestion. Can you imagine that, though? Sven says there's a solution. Get the sidecar. Okay. Picture that. Matt driving the motorcycle, Annabeth in the sidecar. Again, from her perspective, I promise she would look right at you and say, ain't happening. Hey, though, remember when Barney on the Andy Griffith Show got the old war motorcycle? What did he say? He needed it so he could monitor traffic. It was like an old World War I motorcycle, and Barney went out and got it, and it had a sidecar and everything. And he got way into it. He was wearing the goggles and the helmet, and everybody's making fun of him. He got all mad about it. Great episode. Look it up. Jason in Flagstaff says, jokes aside, I see people out here all the time doing cross-country trips on those three-wheeled Harleys and tiny camper trailer sets. He said, not the three-wheelers that we grew up with. He said, it's like a whole apartment rolling down the interstate at 85 miles an hour. I mean, cool. I've seen those too, Jason. I bet they have a great camping experience in that, don't you? Grumpy, he adopted the Razorbacks. He's going to root for them tonight against LSU. He said, yes, Matt and Beaver, it's been an enjoyable show today. Go Razorbacks. Woo pig, Grumpy! John from John's texted the show. He says, Matt, found out I didn't get drawn for Savannah Banana tickets in Starkville. Will you be going in August? Wait a minute. I didn't even know anything about it. I had no idea. Hold on. Time out. Turn the music off, Matt. John, what do you mean Savannah Bananas in Starkville? They're coming. Are they going to play at Duty Noble Field? Details, John. I need details. Are you saying that in August the Savannah Bananas are playing at Duty Noble Field? I mean, it's hard to. So there'll be 15, 20,000 people there. Everywhere they go. Like I saw a thing on TV recently where they went and set up a baseball field at the Tennessee Titans football stadium there in Nashville. And basically sold it out? They had 60, 70,000 people in there watching the Savannah Bananas play baseball. They're coming to Starkville? I had no clue. When did that come out? How could I have missed that? So there was such demand for the tickets, you had to enter to be drawn to get them, like the Masters? Are you kidding me? Sven says the Party Animals will headline the 2-day event at Duty Noble Field on Friday, August 22nd, Saturday, August 23rd. The game will start at 8 Eastern each night, so 7 Central. Okay, so it's not the Bananas, it's the Party Animals. Similar. Gotcha. Andy texted and said thought it was the Party Animals, not the Bananas. I mean, but still, so they had a waiting list for tickets? You had to be drawn to get them? Sven has got details, and he's sending it to me on the YouTube comments. He said, as one of 39 stops for the Savannah Bananas, the greatest show in sports is expected to bring an outstanding crowd to MSU's campus. Sources tell Athlon Sports the 2-night affair is nearly sold out. He said it's bananas versus animals. So it is animals, but it's bananas too. Listen to us. Listen to us. Now that's really cool. So the question, am I going? I didn't even know about it. So I didn't get in the drawing for tickets. Tell you what I could do, though. I could slip down there. Nobody can see me. Like get across the highway and fly my drone over it. Film it. Don't y'all be getting any ideas. I'm just joking. Saw this stat, thought I'd lay it on you. Major League Baseball, interesting stats. Check this out. Right now, at this point in the 2025 Major League Baseball season, 22% is the overall MLB strikeout percentage. Now, hang on. I mean, stats are hard to sometimes consume on a radio like this. You know, you're hearing it, not seeing it. But listen, okay. For perspective, so 22% strikeout percentage. We're talking about hitters striking out. For example, the lowest I think it's ever been was from 1979 to 1981. It was 12.5%, and that was when pitchers still were hitting in the National League, and still league-wide, it was a 12.5 strikeout percentage back then. It's 22% now. But notably, the strikeout percentage is down this year from last year. So there's fewer strikeouts. But here's another stat. How about this? Game has changed a little bit, like it's coming around almost. Look at this. The percentage of runs that have been scored via home runs this year in Major League Baseball is 39.4%. 39.4%, the percentage of runs that have been scored via homers. Okay? What does that mean? Looking at it right here. Here it is. The 39.4%, runs via home runs number. It's the lowest that it has been since 2015. In other words, like if it holds up, now we're not through the year, it'll ebb and flow, but to this point, you'd have to go back a full decade to find the last time that runs scored via home run was as low as it is right now in Major League Baseball. So the strikeout percentage has come down, okay, and more runs are being scored in other ways other than home runs. You see what I'm saying here? When I read this, that was my takeaway. Now, I'm not here on a Wednesday to promote Major League Baseball to you, but I have told you that, like, I'm watching a good team a lot because of Jake Mangum. I'm watching the Rays. They have a little bit of everything. They hit for power, but they also put it in play a ton. They got two guys in the lineup batting over 300. There's a bunch of Major League teams don't have that. So they're putting it in play. But overall, this right here says the percentage of strikeouts is actually down a little bit from last year. And the runs that are being scored are not as many of them are being scored by home runs as have been in the past. You got to go all the way back to 2015. It's a sign that maybe you're just putting the ball in play more, and the game's a little more fun to watch. I hope it keeps going that trend, to be honest with you. All right, that'll wrap it up for today. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us here on the show in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. See you then.